It's another day in medical school, and you've been told you have an exam coming up. And so you decide to do the logical thing everybody does when they have an exam. You decide it's time to lock in. Draft out a list of all the topics you have to study. You give every second and every minute of your time to intense studying because you have one goal: to pass your exams. But what happens when things don't turn out the way you expect them to? What happens when your results don't match your efforts? What happens when it finally dawns on you and you realize that you failed? You then start to ask yourself questions like, what went wrong? Why were my efforts a total waste? What am I even doing in medical school? I am such a failure. Well, the truth is, this feeling is not new. This is something a lot of medical students go through. And if you've been struggling with these emotions, I'm here to tell you, you are not alone. It is not your failures that define you, but it is how you process your failures and come out of it that defines you. So here are a couple tips from me to you on how to handle failure in medical school. First tip I will give for dealing with failure in medical school is to detach your self-worth from your grades. A lot of medical students are known to be high flyers academically right from primary school throughout secondary school. They've gotten the highest of grades, gotten the highest of JAM scores, and so because of this streak of academic excellence, it is very possible to at some point begin to seek academic validation from your grades, and so because of it they begin to seek a sense of identity from their grades. And so when they get into medical school and they realize the game is completely different from what they are used to, if your identity has always been wrapped around the high scores you've gotten, then failing a test or exam can make you question and doubt your capacity as a student. But that should not be the case at all. The fact that you are able to get into medical school, despite how rigorous, challenging, and competitive it is to get in, that means you have exactly what it takes to become a medical doctor. Yes, good grades are a determinant for your being promoted or your progress in medical school, but good grades do not determine how good of a doctor you are going to be. The next advice I would give is to take failure as feedback. Look at it this way: the grades or the score you've gotten in a test or an exam is a reflection of what you did right, what you did wrong, and what you could have done better. The moment you realize your results are not matching your efforts, it's time to ask yourself some questions like, did I start studying early enough? Was the study method I used efficient enough for me to prepare for my exams? Was I trying to cram for my exams last minute? Did I study the high-yield topics, or did I pour out my energy into studying the topics that were least likely to come out? Doing a self-analysis can help you understand the areas you need to improve on. It allows you to take a step back and do a thorough assessment of your weaknesses and look for areas where you can grow. After doing a self-analysis, the next plan is to re-strategize. After reflecting on what exactly went wrong, it's time to make changes when needed. So making changes could look like starting a bit earlier instead of leaving studying till the last minute, trying out a different study method that works for you and enables you to study more efficiently, trying to understand the material whilst you're studying instead of just cramming, creating a study plan ahead of time, and taking feedback and making adjustments when needed is how you grow, and that is how you get different results. My last point for this video would be to seek help when necessary. If you need to speak to a friend, a senior, a mentor, or even a family member in order to process what you are going through, do that. A lot of medical students tell themselves that they don't have time to process their emotions, but the truth is, any emotion that is not processed, it can pile up and resurface at a later time, which could be very detrimental to your mental health. If you need to seek counseling, do that. If you need to join a study group, do that. Leaning on people for emotional support or academic support has always proven to be very helpful. Medical school teaches you more than just how to treat diseases. It teaches you resilience and perseverance. It teaches you how to push through even in the days when you don't feel like your efforts are yielding the results you desire. So, through the challenges you face, the failures you may encounter, remember that you are more than just your grades. Take the lessons you learned from your failures, re-strategize, and come out stronger. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, ensure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, do not hesitate to share this video to someone who you feel may need it. Once again, thank you all for watching, and I wish you all a prosperous new year.